Hello and welcome to WRC on TCHUB. And we are reviewing round 4, the Rally Islas Canarias in Spain. I'm Nicholas Jones and my special guest is, as ever, Ash Mayer. Ash, long time no see. Great to have you back.
Hi, Nicholas. It's nice to be back and nice to hear from you again. I'm so looking forward to the rally. This rally. It's been one built up for the whole of the season, and this is going to be a tricky one for a lot of the drivers to get used to the tarmac conditions again from Rally Kenya.
And it certainly was, and it certainly was, and this event was all about one man and one team, Kalle Rovanperä and Toyota. Kalle, he just went in straight in from the off. I think he won most of the day stages. He definitely won all the first stages on leg 1. Followed up with some more on leg 2, but even though he didn't win every single stage, he was in complete command and dominated the rally.
Yeah, no, look, Kalle Rovanperä needed a big bounce back from the rocky start to the season. It was an immense performance from him, even though it looked like Evans would run away with the title. Hopefully, with Rovanperä finding form and finding the balance of the car, because he was struggling from round 1 already to find balance of the car and get used to the tires. So this was a much needed confidence booster and points on the board for him. I mean, out of 18 stages, he won 15 of them. So it was a pretty dominant performance. And he tends to do well on the tarmac circuits.
Yes, indeed. And for the championship leader, Elfyn Evans, for him it was more about being consistent and scoring points. And Rovanperä's victory actually did him a favour. He was 36 points ahead going into Islas Canarias. He is now 43 points in the lead. So not only did Kalle Rovanperä help, but also Sebastian Ogier, who we'll get to in a moment. But Elfyn Evans, very consistent, and points were, I think, on the forefront of his mind.
Yeah, no, look, most definitely it helped Evans a bit to just stretch his lead in the championship. For him, it's just about ticking over the points and just getting critical points throughout the rounds, and then going into the next few rounds, getting a couple wins. And then the title was just about, look, he's done the hard work at the beginning. So look, it's still a long season to go. And if Rovanperä can take points off Novell can take points off Formeau, and it's the constant back and forth, then you will see Evans, and this is what we called at the beginning of the season, that if Evans finds form, I mean, he's going to run away with it. And that currently looks, if you look at the standings, Evans is sitting on 109 and Rovanperä sitting on 66. And Novell, I don't know, and Formeau, they having technical issues with that Hyundai and they're not finding their feet. And it's just been problem after problem.
Yes, we'll get to Hyundai in a moment or two. But the other Toyota drivers, Takamoto Katsuta and Sami Piari, very consistent until, of course, Piari crashed out on day 2. But Takamoto Katsuta did what was required of him. But welcome back, Sebastian Ogier. Even though he was behind Rovanperä on times, he was still breathtaking to watch as ever. His experience on tarmac showed, and his contribution more than crucial to Toyota in the Manufacturers' Championship.
Yeah, no, look, definitely you cannot write Sebastian Ogier, even though he's been around in the sport for very long. He's got that mindset. He's got the experience on the tarmac courses. He's got that precision and speed. He wasn't far off Rovanperä, but I would have loved to see him in a full season, what he would have done. But he's up there. I mean, he's been around. He's did the business, and I mean, for him to have a few rounds in. It's an absolute honor to still see him. He's in the rally. It's an absolute legend.
And Takamoto Katsuta did what was expected of him. Don't normally see him shine on the tarmac. I think gravel is more his preferred surface.
Yeah, no, look, I'm happy for Takutsa. Compared to where he was last season, it wasn't really. It was a mixed bag for him. Whereas this season, he's put some stellar performances in, and like you said, with the tarmac, it's not really been his forte, but he showed his own in the Portuguese rally. So I'm looking forward to him to see him knock off some more points of Hyundai, because Toyota look very, very strong, and I mean they could run away with the manufacturers.
Yes, indeed they could. But before we move on to the other manufacturers, quick mention of Sami Payari. He showed us once again why he has the potential to mix it with the top teams. It was just unfortunate he had that retirement on leg 2.
Yeah, no, look for Ricky to come into the season and straight out the gates, put in performances. I mean, we saw him in Sweden, what he did. And we look at now with the Portugal, he had some solid runs throughout the stages. And unfortunately, on the last hurdle, the rear caught out and he hit the barrier. But I mean, it's a learning curve for him. But I feel very positive for him that going forward, he can only improve going on into the rounds. And the potential's there. You can see it.
Yes, we certainly can. Whilst Toyota strolled away with the events, Hyundai were trying all kinds of different setups on the car, particularly with Neuville, and they just didn't work. But I think the only comfort for Hyundai was that all 3 cars finished, and Adrian Formeau beat his teammates. He said at the end of the power stage that he won the unofficial Hyundai Cup. So this has got so even though it was a bad week, weekend for all the drivers all round, they're just glad that they should be glad that they got the miles under their belts like everyone else did with the Hankook tires on the tarmac. But Hyundai. Hyundai disappointing in Islas Canarias. They'll be looking. I'm sure they'll be looking to Portugal to claw back some ground.
Yeah, no, look, most definitely. Hyundai's had a rough start to the season with a mix of mistakes from Neuville and Formeau in the early stages of the WRC, and now with their technical issues, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I hope they can find some form going into the next few rounds. It's become a hit and miss for Hyundai with all the issues, and it's not doing the reigning champion any favors, Neuville, because I mean, with the mistakes that he's making, the car, like Formeau was saying, feels very understeery. So I'm not sure if that's a direct issue with the new tires or what could be the problem. But we'll have to see going into the next few rounds what will happen.
And as well as Formeau and Neuville, we've also got to mention Oyt Tanak. A very frustrating rally for him. Punctures and all the technical setups as well.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate for him. I mean, one would have loved to see him bounce back on the tarmac, because for a lot of the drivers, they seem to shine more on the tarmac. And I think it would have been much more easier on the tires compared to the likes of Sweden and rallies of Kenya, where not much of the drivers could really get a feel. Whereas you could have somewhat got a feel of the tires, even though it being new, and then still coupled with all the technical issues and, like you said, the punctures and things. So let's hope they bounce back in the next round. But I don't know, it's looking very rough for them. I mean,
If Hyundai were struggling with their problems, M Sport Ford were next to nowhere. Despite Gregoire Munster finishing, the team was just way off the pace.
Yeah, no, look, Gregoire Munster tried what he could. I mean, to get performance out of that car is not a joke. I mean, but I don't know. They just look like they picked up from where they left off last year, where they are absolutely nowhere. And I don't know what to say more about this team. It's either on the technical side that they just can't get performance out of these cars, and then still coupled with the tires, they are just absolutely nowhere. And I mean, Greg Munster hasn't put bad performances in. I mean, look at this rally, for example. He was pretty solid, but the car is just so underperforming. So they'll have to go back to the drawing board. I don't want to say the season is over for them, but I would say, look, you just work on the car this season and look towards next season, because I think this season is gone from them.
Yes, and we also have to feel very sorry for Josh McAlean. He has competed in the Islas Canarias before when it was part of the European Championship, but on this particular weekend, he was beset by problems, and his final stage accident did him no favors whatsoever. But he is still learning.
Yeah, no, look, he's a rookie, so I mean, you can't blame him. I mean, it's unfortunate that they've got the issues that they've got, but I mean, it's a learning curve for him, and I wouldn't let it dampen his confidence too much. Go in, put your head down, go into the next rally, and just do what you know you're capable of, and do what you did in WRC 2. You've got the experience. You've seen what even though they're different cars, just put your head down and go for it. And I do see him going into next year, if he can find a better team, because I don't see the current team that is in now making any inroads. But put your head down and just focus on what you're capable of.
Yes, indeed. So I know what you're probably going to say, Ash. But who is your driver of the rally and why?
Look, I would love to say Kalle Rovanperä, and that should be a 10 out of 10 for me. But I think I would have to go for Evans, because even though he only grabbed a handful of stages, he's just ticking the points over, and he's just floating about, and he's getting the much needed points that he needs to take this championship. So as much as the performance that Rovanperä put in, which was absolutely stellar, I gotta give it to Evans, because he's just showing that consistency. And going into this rally, it was all about precision and speed and not making mistakes and just getting that car from start to finish. And that's exactly what Evans did. He just you can see, compared to last year, he's just settled in so much, and he's got the Toyota behind him, which he knows he can feel confident in, and he can push when he needs to push. He's did the hard work already. So it's just about ticking the points over and going through the motions.
Wow, that is a surprise. I wasn't expecting Evans to be your driver of the rally at all. But anyway, here is a look at the championship standings. Elfyn Evans, as we mentioned, his lead is now 43 points, with Rovanperä second and Neuville third. Ogier fourth and Tanak in fifth. So with the next few rounds being on Portugal, and with a lot of the drivers having good performances on gravel, Evans's lead could be whittled down.
Yeah, look, it could be whittled down, but so long as he stays up there and he just keeps up with the likes of Rovanperä and them, and just puts in the solid performance through the weekend, it might just take a little bit of a dent off his points, but there's still a long way to go. What I do want to see is Neuville, the reigning world championship, just find his feet again, and Hyundai nail those issues and come to the fight and put Elvins under pressure, because we haven't really seen Elvins under pressure. He's just fallen into his comfort zone and he's just going by the motion. So let's see how it goes. But I'm looking forward to Rally Portugal.
Yes, and not only could Portugal affect the championship, but also the other two punishing gravel rallies coming up, Sardinia and Acropolis. Now onto the manufacturers' standings. Toyota have surpassed the 200 points mark. Hyundai some 51 points behind, and rounding up the back, M Sport Ford and Toyota WRT2, which is normally Sami Pajari's team, except I think for some reason he was in like the main team or something like that. But I can't really keep up with this. Anyway, Toyota are out in front. I think it would remind older listeners of Lancia when they totally dominated the sport between the late 80s and early 90s, and also for more slightly younger listeners, Citroen. The other teams have really got to work hard in order to ensure they aren't starting to run away with it.
Yeah, no, look, most definitely, Hyundai need to bounce back, because Toyota are absolutely leaving everyone in their dust, and it looks like really like the seasons like you were mentioning with the Lancia Integrale and the Citroen C2 of Sebastian Loeb, where they absolutely dominated. So Toyota could close this title in the next 3-4 rounds. Will they seal it if they keep up this? And what Hyundai's issues and the drivers making small errors, I mean, it could be sealed by the next 3 rounds.
Yes. So technically before Finland, and I actually found out last week that Toyota are on 8 points. On 8 world titles with Citroen. So they may well surpass them this year, and all in all, despite everything, do you think that Islas Canarias has been a great addition to the WRC?
Look, I think it's coming back in 2025. I think it's been a nice addition to the circuit. It's a very mixed tarmac course with a lot of speed and precision. If we look at it's in the longer stages, like if you go away on Friday, where we had a 26-kilometer stage. So throughout the WRC weekend, we had a mix of stage lengths. We had I would say some tricky corners and tricky hairpins. It caught out a few drivers like Sami Pajari, but overall, I think it's a decent addition to the WRC calendar. I mean, look, we've got another 2 gravel tracks coming the next 2 rounds, so let's see how those 2 go. But I think this was a pretty solid rally, and most of the drivers made it through. And it's a good learning curve for the rookies also. So let's see what happens in the next few rounds.
So from the unknown of the Islas Canarias, we now turn our attention back to the familiar. Round 5, the Rally of Portugal, which will be between the 15th and 18th of May. It's a very abrasive and punishing event and it's known for drivers going out early if they make a mistake. But we should also take into account the iconic jumps in the FAF area. Very attractive to fans, and in fact, Portugal's fan base is one of the strongest in the WRC.
Yeah, no, look, I'm looking forward to Rally Portugal with the speed of the jumps. Let's see how these tires hold up and what compound they bring to Rally Portugal, with it being so abrasive. It could be tricky for some drivers. But overall, I'm really excited to see Rally Portugal, and I mean the fans go absolutely mental at Rally Portugal. It's one of the my tops on the rally circuit of the year. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Rally Portugal.
Right. Well. That wraps up our review of Rally Islas Canarias. My thanks to Ash for his wonderful contributions, and that about does it for us for now. Do join us again for our next review, and we will see you in Portugal. So from all of us here, it's goodbye.